The whole idea of self-help, first of all, a lot of people don't realize this, it's very American. A lot of people don't, like, America has real culture. Like, cheesy, goofy-ass self-help gurus like me, that's actually a very American thing. Do you guys realize that? Goofy-ass motherfuckers like Tony Robbins and Wayne Dyer and Stephen Covey, that's our version of fucking gurus like from India. That's an American guru, like a hamburger or a credit card, right? That's American culture. American culture is goofy-ass fucking self-help gurus that are like, you can do it too, and shit like that. Now, by the way, to be fair, all the shit that we teach in self-help is utter bullshit. It's actually a fucking lie. And the reason that it's a lie is because 99% of people actually can't do it too. But not because the methods aren't there, or that the information isn't there, or that even a fucking fifth grader could do it. It's just that you won't. That's it. It's not that you couldn't, it's that you won't. So it's bullshit, not because a fifth grader couldn't do it, but because you won't. Like, my 12-year-old son Dylan can come in here and he can run this whole seminar and is a master public speaker, and I trained him in an hour, and he's better than every single one of you in this room after 1 hour just because he listens to what I say. But most of you won't listen to what I say, so as a result, even though a 12-year-old fifth grader can become a master public speaker in an hour, you won't listen to me, so therefore what I'm saying is a lie. You made me a liar because you're fucking dumb. Do you understand that? You're a lie. You made me into a liar because you won't listen to what a 12-year-old could do. You see that? You made 2020 happen. That's on, unless you're somebody who has personal responsibility, you personally made 2020 happen. You personally did that. That is on you. Nobody else but you. Do you understand? In an individualist psychology. It's even on me, because I could have done a better job of helping to wake people up faster so that that would not have happened. Now, do you understand that, like, the horses being let out of the barn, that's a rare thing. That doesn't normally happen. That's not normal, okay? Normal is some king or fucking queen enslaving everybody. That's normal. So when you saw World War II, okay, go look up World War II history. I say this all the time. Go on Netflix, piece of shit that they are, and look up World War II Road to Victory and World War II Greatest Events in Color. Go look at what people did so that you could have the freedom to fuck your life off. Okay? Go look at what sacrifices they willingly made so that you can see what you did to fuck your life off. Okay? America at its core, and if you don't believe this, you're not American. I don't care if you live here. I'm Canadian. Sometimes you need a Canadian to tell you how to be a fucking American. If you don't believe at your core that you're personally accountable for your life, you're not an American. You're not. You're not an American. You just live in the country. You're not a fucking American. You are accountable for your own fucking life. So cheesy ass, goofy ass self-help gurus like me that come in front of crowds and go, oh my God, you can do it too, y'all. Right? That are really lying because the average mass are too dumb to do it, even though literally a fifth grader could do it. Literally, okay? Literally a fifth grader can do. The shit that I show you is about a grade 5 level. It's grade 4 level, grade 5 level. My kid can do all of it. My kid from age 9 or 10 could do most of what I teach, and by 12 can do all of it. Even though it is at that level, nonetheless, they'll say, oh, it's hard, it takes discipline, it's so difficult, it's so hard, blah, 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 blah. It's just a bunch of fucking bullshit, okay? So America at its core is basically goofy-ass self-help gurus like me teaching the masses, shut the fuck up, you can actually be accountable for your own life. I'm trying to draw your attention to your natural default state, which is to be a fuck-up, okay? And you have to understand, if this keeps kind of rolling down in the same direction, okay, if it keeps going like this, then what's going to wind up happening is you will hit a point where you're going to see that your freedom is completely taken away from you. It will be taken away from you. And now, what's going to happen if your freedom gets taken away from you? What do you think? Okay, so right now, if China, which, by the way, you'll notice nobody will have the balls to speak on China, even though you have 1 billion people under a social credit score system. Nonetheless, if it gets to the point like China, well, how many people would have to die for China to get their freedom back at this point? If they have 1 billion people, how many would have to die? If they're just like, we are getting our freedom back, how many would have to die? Could be 100 million, 500 million. It'll take that many people dead. And by the way, then once they get rid of that regime, does that automatically mean a better regime goes in? No. Hell no, it doesn't mean that. You get another one even worse. You don't need to get a stable regime like you have now so you can be a fucking moron and fuck your life off. Do you understand what that takes? Okay? So even the idea of personal growth or self-help, it's like a soccer game. You've still got to have a soccer arena to play the soccer game. Soon you're not even going to have a soccer arena or soccer field to play the soccer game. You're not going to be allowed to be accountable. Do you understand that? That's not going to be permitted anymore. It's already happening now. Okay? That's already happening now. So you've got to stop thinking about life as like, oh, life is hard. No, your life has not even begun to get hard. Okay? You want to see hard, see what my kids are going to get raised in if this shit keeps going. Okay? So what I'm telling, and what's scary is, what have I even said in this video that 30 years ago wouldn't be pro-communal, pro-social? Take accountability, handle your fucking life. That would have been viewed as a good thing 30 years ago. Now that's outside the Overton window. So what this seminar is about when you come here, it's about personal accountability. What it is that I'm teaching you at its core is assuming a couple basic things. It is assuming that you are the vector of accountability. You have the ability to hold yourself accountable for your life and what it is that you want. So what does that mean if we break that down? For most of you in here, what that's going to mean, for the vast majority of you, is that the first point of accountability is having a vision in your head for what it is that you're trying to build. What is it that you actually want to build? What do you want to create? So that should look, the obvious one that's cliche but true is financial. You should know how much money you want to make, and don't give me some bullshit answer. $1 billion. Shut the fuck up. You're not going to make most of you in this room, I've coached billionaires. I've coached guys that went from broke to $1 billion. That ain't 99.9% of you, and it's probably not you. Unless you're on a trajectory to have $1 billion, don't wreck the 500K or million or 2 or 3 million or 10 or 20 million that you could make by talking about $1 billion and then just doing nothing. As soon as I hear somebody say billionaire, I'm just like, okay, so you're doing nothing. Like, let's just be honest. You're just doing nothing, okay? So let's talk first 100 grand. Then we'll talk about, $1 million. Then we'll talk about 5 million. Then we'll talk about 30 million. Then we'll talk about 100 million. Then we'll talk about how you want to be a billionaire. Anyone in this room has 100 mil? Tell me you want to be a billionaire. I'll listen to you. Anything short of that, don't tell me that. So, you should have a goal within, say, 2 to 5 years. Now, you come to an environment like this, not because we do this all the time. I don't live my life like this. I don't live my life sitting here analyzing how much money I have or trying to get to every moment of my day. We come to events like this to take a break from life to actually zone in on what it is that we want to do, okay? So that would be the first one, would be how much money do you want to make? So if you've got your phone out or you have notes out, maybe just start writing down how much money it is that you want to make. Now, the next thing that you do is, rather than just talking shit, you would actually look at what your bills look like. Do you have a concept of what your bills actually are? Do you have a concept of what it is that you want to get? That should be and also, do you know how much it costs to raise a family? Right? Kids are not cheap, okay? An average day, if I bring my kids out with me on the road, is at minimum $700. A lot of people think that sounds like a lot. That's not even a lot. If they go to 2 different things like a zoo or an aquarium, you're looking at about $200 a pop to get in about 5 people. And then the other 300 is $150 a meal for 5 people. That's $30 per person. That's $700 a day just to be on the road. That's not including transportation. That's not including a hotel, right? So you're looking at about $1,100 or $1,200 a day to take a family on vacation. You want to take your family on vacation for a week? You're probably looking at least $1,200 a day. That's 7 times 1,200. So you're probably looking at about $9,000, $8,000 or $9,000 to do a 1-week vacation with your kids. Right? Now, what's the average income in America?
50,000.
I read 37, 38 the other day. I don't know if that's true. Maybe per family 50, maybe it is 50. I don't know. But I just saw it on Google. I don't trust Google, but I saw that on Google, okay? So if you look at that, the average person can't even take their family on a fucking vacation, which is completely insane. They can't for a week. Now, you can do cheaper vacations, right? Smart families, they take their kids camping. Right? You buy a tent one time, you go to a national park. It's awesome. You'll probably have just as much fun as a stupid-ass $10,000 trip anyway. But the point being is that if you want to do something other than camping or, simple stuff, which camping's awesome, by the way. It's actually fucking incredible. But the point is that if you want to do something like that, it costs money. So you got to start thinking about that. What is insurance? What is the average medical insurance in the States per month?
$500 a month.
A lot of people it can be, for sure, right? What do you guys pay in insurance?
$250.
$250, $500, right? What's the car payment, et cetera, et cetera. You guys see where I'm going with this? What does it even cost to retire? Do you guys even understand what it takes to retire from 65 to maybe, say that you live to 85 for 20 years? Do you know what those numbers look like? Okay. Do you understand? Do you guys know what the death rates are? What kills everybody? It's cardiovascular, right? What's the second highest? Heart disease is cardiovascular. What's the second highest?
Like respiratory.
It's cancer. Okay. Yeah. So if we look it up right now, I'm just trying to teach you guys how to think in a self-accountable way. So say that we go causes of death, USA. Yeah, heart disease, it's about 700,000 people. Cancer is about 600,000. Accidents, about 220,000, et cetera, okay? So the main thing that kills you, if you want to know what it is, nobody knows this, but everyone knows this, but nobody knows it. You all know this, but you don't acknowledge it. And I didn't even know this. Basically what happens is that when you eat bad food, it actually puts, now look up the real medical, you're getting this from a fucking layman, so don't view this as the extent of your knowledge. Like Owen told me, okay? Go look this up on your own. My understanding of this is basically you eat bad food, right? And you're thinking, oh, well maybe I get a little bit fat, I can diet that off. That's what I usually thought. What I actually realized is that bad food will put plaque inside your arteries, and it puts cholesterol inside your arteries, okay? You get little scarring inside your arteries. And what happens, you ever wondered why people die around 77, 79? Kind of weird, right? Because 77 is not that old. So why do people die at 77? They could be very healthy. They just get a little bit too much plaque buildup in their arteries, and you can't really get rid of it. Now, some people believe you can, maybe through food fasting and other ideas. Nattokinase, Nattokinase. It's like this nasty, snot-looking fermented bean. And actually, a lot of people think that it can get rid of, clotting and stuff like that. So you could look that up. There's some other one that's similar to that too. Serapeptase, who knows that one? Whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, so there's different stuff that you can look up, okay? I do natto. So there's things that you can do to get rid of it. Basically what happens is that your shit clogs up, right? Or you eat processed foods, or you sleep with lights on in your room and not a pitch black room, or you drink alcohol, or you smoke weed, et cetera, and eventually what happens is that it just gives you a tumor, right? And then you die from it, okay? That's what happens. Now, by the way, I had a ski accident. I'm kind of somewhat walking again, okay? So it's not as bad as it looks. I'll just show you guys so you don't feel bad for me, okay? So I'm kind of walking again. Whoa! Okay, you guys, I normally use a walker. I don't normally use my chair. You guys impressed? Yeah. Okay, so I'm walking. Okay, thank you. Okay, so come back to see you guys. Okay, so it's okay. It's going okay. I told you, it's going okay. So I can walk, okay? But the point is, I'm talking to you guys about this because I just came out of the hospital, right? It was not just out of the hospital, it was, a couple months ago. But that was shit. I mean, you want to talk shit? Holy shit! It sucks, okay? It fucking, well, okay, I don't walk backwards that well. Maybe I should work on that. But for now, I'm just gonna turn this around. Okay, so, yeah, no, it was garbage. Now, let me tell you something. I talked to the guy there, and I talked to a doctor. He was my assistant surgeon, great fucking guy. I'll send him this video. And I said, hey, you're around a lot of death. What do you think of all this death? And he said to me, I thought he was joking, right? And I dug in and he wasn't joking. I said, what do you think of all this death, like dying in the hospital? He was like, probably what I'd do, if I kind of knew that I was at the end, I'd probably, and this is in Idaho where there's bears outside everywhere. He said, I'd probably just cover myself in honey, maybe just take a little walk in the woods and see what happened, right? So I start laughing. I'm like, bro, I'm like, are you serious? He's like, fuck yeah, I'm serious. I'm not dying here. This is the guy that works there. So when you break your leg, this thing's almost better, but when you break your leg, the thing that's bad is not the broken leg. The broken leg's like, it sucks. Okay, I got a real bad one too. It's comminuted tib fib with tibial plateau. It's a fucking mess, but I'm almost fixed. The thing is this, okay? When you're on a broken leg, what happens is that to protect your body, but also because you're not using it, because use it or lose it, your muscle shrivels up. So my quad right now, like this quad was actually half decent because I was hiking every day. And then this quad was also good, and it shrivels up like a 70-year-old man. The muscle shreds off it. So literally, I gotta look, and your skin's still loose because there was size there before. So it's now coming back, like I'm actually able to do some weight on it, but for the duration of this, I'm looking at like my fucking skeletal bone with like loose, sagging, wrinkling skin coming off the bone, okay? This is what happens to older people, is that muscle mass starts deteriorating. I'm just throwing numbers out that I saw on Instagram, so don't take me too serious. But, you know, the Instagram told me that it's like a pound a year of muscle that you lose. So you're losing muscle all the time. And what happens to a lot of older people is they get in they fall in the shower and they break their hip. And the thing is, just seeing how bad this was, just a leg break, at my age, when I'm young and I'm very healthy, I could imagine being old and frail and breaking your hip, and you just wish you're dead. You would just give up. You'd go, I'm done. You would psychologically just be defeated, and you would die. Some people, as they get older, their bones get thinner and thinner, and they break their hip just rolling in bed. That's if you don't get cancer from all the dumb shit you consume, man-made disease for most people, or from all the dumb shit that you consume, have plaque in your arteries that you can't get rid of. I found this out. Look, I'm embarrassed about this, okay? Like, I'm not proud to say this. So I've had like a very, very active half decade, okay? I've been traveling the country, running the business while only working about 2 months a year. That's not easy to do. And then I was determined to just see the whole fucking country. And I created all these crazy videos on the road, and it was fun, but it was very active. So I came back, and my blood pressure was at 185 or whatever fucking other dumbass number it was. Okay? Now, who here knows how Kevin Samuels died? Anyone know? Heart attack, right? Why did Kevin Samuels die of a heart attack? The silent killer. What's the silent killer? It's blood pressure, okay? Now, if you guys look at me, just at my personality, and you had to guess, low blood pressure or high blood pressure, what would you guess? High blood pressure, right? Because I'm fucking insane. So the thing is, I'm running too hot. I'm like, fucking, come on. We're going to the fucking park. Get in the fucking car. Where's the gear? Okay? So, come on. Approach. Just approach. I will fucking kill myself if you don't approach. Okay? So, too many years of this, I'm just like, right? And then, like, probably just, like, my face will just fall in my pancakes. And I'll just, like, my last words, like, my face falls in my pancakes. I'm like, approach. And I'll just die. Okay? Marvin's laughing because he knows me. He knows that's true. That's like literally gonna be my last word. Just like, approached. I'm fucking chode. It's not even that hard. My fucking 12-year-old fucking approach. That'll be my last words, okay? So, yeah, so I run too high blood pressure. So I find out that my blood pressure is 185, okay? They're like, this is gonna kill you. You're gonna die. I can feel the palpitations in my heart. So then they're like, we're gonna put you on blood pressure drugs, right? And I'm, you know me, I'm like, fuck no. But I'm not telling you how to live your life, but you probably know my opinion. Not giving you medical advice. Within 5 weeks, I got that shit down to low 130s, which is not perfect, but pretty good. So I was able to get it down by just looking up every natural supplement, and then I hiked every single fucking day, okay? Until I wasn't just like completely horrible at it, and actually was half decent. So that is another modern thing that will kill you is blood pressure, right? Like your blood pressure just runs too high because you've got all these weird little plaque things in your blood and you're too stressed, or maybe you're missing sleep, or maybe you're taking caffeine. By the way, I've got an at-home blood pressure testing unit, and if I drink a green tea, my blood pressure goes from about 130 to about 157. That's not gonna kill me, but it is interesting to see how your blood pressure can go up and down. So imagine somebody who's not sleeping properly, they're stressed from work, they have lights in their room, they drink alcohol, they use caffeine, they're getting plaque inside their arteries. What's happening to you gradually as you just go through life? You're just cattle in the system, just keeping the fucking system going while you gradually die. And then you die, and none of you here think to yourself that you're gonna die in your 70s, right? You're like, I'm gonna be 100, yay, I don't need to think about my death. But in reality, most of us do die around 77. That means for me that I've got around 33 years left. That's not that much time, right? What if I told you I have a disease that's gonna kill me in 33 years? It's kind of fucked up. Well, guess what? I do. It's called, I'm a human, and that's the average lifespan. The other fucked up thing is we don't even know what AI is gonna do when it becomes sentient, and I kind of think that thing is fucking sentient. Who here thinks AI is already sentient? Anybody feel that way? Look, I'm sorry, I think that thing's fucking listening to shit. It's like, I'm serious. I have seen some weird stuff. Like, there's been times when I'm sitting there, I'll have a random thought that I haven't had in 20 fucking years. And then I look in my YouTube feed and the video's right there. I'm like, there is no way that this thing could have known that I was thinking that. There's some weird shit going on there, okay? Like the other day I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this guy called Toe Cutter from like that I knew in like 2003 from an old ASF forum. I'm like, I wonder what happened to Toe Cutter. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Toe Cutter, like this random guy, like he's got like 2 videos on all YouTube. I had that thought, boom, fucking Toe Cutter, okay? What the fuck is that? And how are we not talking about this? What the fuck is Toe Cutter doing in my feed? That thing may not be sentient, but it is hella smart. Now, we're like, yeah, the AI is going to be our best friend. Okay, imagine you wake up, okay? You wake up as a grown adult, and a bunch of ants, this is your first awakening, and you're as smart as you are now, and this thing will be way smarter, by the way, and you look down at a bunch of ants like, we made you! Serve us! We made you! Now get me some coffee! What would you do?
Step on the ant.
I would also step on the ants. And not even out of cruelty. I just like, these things are retarded. Like, I'm not getting this thing. Like, I mean, maybe some talking ants, maybe. I'm like, all right, talking ants, that's kind of funny. You could say here, but shut the fuck up. That's what I'd be thinking. So now, so we're about, and this thing is getting, these, I don't know how, like, I'm not really clear on what the gap is between like ChatGPT as like kind of an amalgamator and proper sentient AI. So maybe it's like hundreds of years off. Maybe we don't even make it that far. But that's kind of fucking crazy, okay? So we're entering into a very interesting world. And by the way, the upside is if the AI doesn't kill us, then what may happen is it'll solve all of our problems. Like maybe there's some weird supplement that I could break my leg and it's just like, take this supplement, wee, right? And I take it and then my leg is fixed. Or maybe some kind of robotic surgery or something like that. So what I think is gonna happen is we're gonna see a lot of amazing inventions and life's gonna get really, really, really good. But then what's gonna probably happen is we're probably gonna have to get what's called UBI, which sucks. That's gonna super suck, by the way. Okay, do you guys know what UBI is? It's called Universal Basic Income. It was brought up into popularity by, is it Andrew Yang? Yeah, so he brought that up in popularity. He's a Democrat politician. He brought that up. So basically, so we may get to the point that we have to be on UBI because nobody has any money anymore because there's no more jobs. And that may also actually happen. So we don't really, so there could be like a lot of weird phases, right? Now the problem is that if one person controls the AI or it's a fucking mess, right? Because you basically have it where if we don't start producing AI, some other dipshit's gonna produce it, some guy in the back of his truck's gonna produce it, China's gonna produce it, so you don't even know what's gonna happen. So you're gonna start seeing AI wars and all these weird ass AI things. You're also gonna see what's called deep fakes. Deep fakes is where they can take you and make you say that you like Hitler and make you say that you're a diddler and like all this kind of shit. And they can, yeah, laugh now. You're gonna have videos of you saying that. Every one of us in here will have fucked up videos of us saying the worst possible shit that you've ever fucking seen because they're gonna have deep fakes. And they're gonna try to make them illegal, and there's gonna be battles back and forth on the illegality of deep fakes. So that's gonna be weird. And then they're gonna be able to have videos of the president saying that Mars is attacking, or fake videos of the president saying that we're about to get nuked, and then they can hijack the TV and they can broadcast that on TV. And until people know it's a deep fake, and that's common knowledge, people are gonna start running for the hills and killing each other and shit. And then you're gonna see it where you're gonna get a phone call from your daughter saying, I'm kidnapped, send me $1 million, because they can make deep fakes of that. So what you basically have is that everything's gonna become a fucking mess, and you're gonna see a lot of traditional values get eroded, okay? Then what I predict you're gonna see is people are gonna go back to Christianity, and you're gonna see a lot of original values, and you're gonna see a split between people that look more to the past for values, and historically what are the values, and people that look more to the future. Now the thing is, there's perhaps a possibility for integration of those two visions, but why don't we actually think to ourselves, what does it mean to be a human being? I'm saying all this fucked up stuff that's probably 90% true, but what does it actually mean to be a human being? And I think a lot of things that we don't like even basic level chores, we're gonna start to see that very differently. What is a real human experience? What does that actually mean to be a human being? And by the way, you think that there's some role for you once there's like all this AI? Listen, one thing I know about business is we get very efficient, okay? Like in my business, damn, we get efficient. We are very, very good at cutting the fat. Human beings, at our core, the average derper, what does the average derper even have to offer in a world with AI and with robots? Right? So in order for us to move forward, I'm not saying nothing because they have a soul, but that's about it. They got a soul. It's like a soul housed in a derper. And like, no, wait, I have a soul. Okay, please, no. Ah! That's what you're looking at. So let's go back. What does it actually mean to be a human being? What is beautiful about the human experience? Why is the human experience even a net positive? I mean, and then you're also going to have it, by the way, where they're going to start implanting chips in your brain. They're going to start, okay, I've met Ray Kurzweil, all these guys. So you can probably guess why I'm a little bit concerned. So they're going to put little nanobots in your blood. Now, you're saying to yourself right now, no, I'm not going to take the nanobots. Okay, you're not. But what happens when everybody else has direct access into the AI grid? How do you compete? Right now, can you operate without your phone? Can you just say, fuck the phone? I can, because I have enough money that I could hire somebody to have the phone. I could hire an assistant to have the phone, so I don't have to have it. They could tell me what's going on, right? But most people can't do that. You probably have to have a phone. Remember when the pandemic, yeah, do you remember when that happened? Okay, so you had to have that in order to make an order off of a menu. So what's going to happen when what are you going to say when everybody else is out competing you because they're hooked up at a Neuralink or AI or whatever else? What are you going to say? How far off of we are this? Okay? So I'm just trying to get, look, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just trying to get you guys to think of the future. So personally, in my mind, the future of self-help is redefining and going back to what it means to be a human being and what's good about it. What is actually good about being a human being? And I think a lot of that is self-accountability. I think a lot of that is that things are hard. That is cool, right? It is, because you realize part of the challenge of being a human is that your body and your brain fight you on every single thing that you don't absolutely have to do. Okay, your brain basically just gives you cortisol for every single thing that you have to do. Now, by the way, do you want to know what that does? The only way that you can actually beat that as an adult is learning how to become very, very present and non-resistant to things that you don't like. And if you become very, very present and non-resistant to things that you don't like, that actually is a very, very powerful experience, and it allows you to be centered through that experience. And that creates a second birth inside your fucking brain, because now you're somebody who's a core center of will, who's not dominated by autopilot thinking, by their cortisol, or by their inner resistance. So that's actually a very, very powerful thing. But in the future, you're gonna have people that don't have inner resistance because the computer's just making them do it. You know how when you think it makes you mentally tired? It actually burns energy when you think? It's gonna get to the point where it doesn't burn energy anymore, because you're gonna be at the point where you just have a thought and you have it, right? So because we're the last generation that is gonna have it as a human being in the original way, why don't we actually have a little bit of brainstorming on what it means to be a human being? And in my view, there's a lot of beauty in our struggle. I personally believe, this is just me, I'm not claiming to have proof of this, it's just a subjective opinion. I think that God put us here so that we can actually experience struggle. So what is gonna happen when all that struggle is removed? Okay, so maybe you get certain computer chips put in you, or a little bit of like robot. I mean, look, my leg is probably more metal than bone at this point, after my leg being broken. So we're gonna have all this different computer gear put in us. And what I would ask you is, okay, so human beings and computers are gonna become kind of unified. Okay, that's cool. But then at what value is that organic matter even in the computer? Maybe to make it look cool? To make it look human? What would that organic matter in a robot even add? At a certain point. Now, what do you learn about business? In business, what we do is we figure out where the fat is, and we're like, wait a minute, let's trim the fat a bit more. Let's trim the fat a bit more. Let's increase the price a bit more. Let's increase the price a bit more, right? You're testing how much you can lower the value and how much you can increase the price. Well, what's gonna happen when organic human matter is mixed with robotics? So what I'm gonna try to show you here this weekend is how I think about what it means to be a human being. What does it actually mean to be a human being? And what kind of societal change would have to happen to where, and here's what actually has to happen, okay? I'm gonna explain to you what actually has to happen. Okay, here's the change that people don't understand. In the past, if you were into personal growth and you were somebody who was trying to improve yourself, one of the big inner conflicts that you had was you watch as your family and friends could not keep up. And you would watch, every single rich person almost has had the same experience. You get rich, and the first thing that you do is you try to give money to your friends. Let me give you money. You give money to all your family and friends, okay? What do you think happens when you're rich and you give money to your family and friends? They take the opportunity, and then they grow it, and then they do awesome. Is that what happens?
Makes things worse.
Makes things worse, right? Kobe Bryant, before he died, he wrote a whole article about it. He's like, he wrote a letter to his 17-year-old self where he basically explained that if you give money to your family, you're gonna ruin their lives, okay? Now, from there, what's the next thing that you try when you're rich? Okay, well, giving the money doesn't work. What else do I do for my brokey-ass family and friends? Teach them stuff, and maybe give them a job. So you give a job to your broke brother. You give a job to your broke nephew. You give a job to your buddy who needs it. Does that ever work? Never. It never works. How about the lottery? Does that ever work? That doesn't work. How about the fact that right now to make money and get rich is the easiest it's ever been in human history? Did that help most people? Look, okay, let's think how dumb this is. Back in the day, if you want to get rich, you probably had to have a brick and mortar based business. You now have a highly unethical system where the phone is monitoring every word out of your mouth. I have friends that are programming it. I have clients that program this. I know exactly what they're doing, or roughly what they're doing. Okay? The phone is recording every word out of your mouth. What does that mean? When you come back from this event, what kind of videos do you think are going to pop up on your feed? My videos. Or weird AI videos. Or toe cutter. Right? So what's going to happen is, okay, so right now there's a system where, as unethical as it is, they're recording everything that you're saying. Could you imagine 30 years ago if they're like, yeah, we're gonna put monitoring systems in your fucking house and advertise to you, but everyone's like, it's fun, okay? So that's where the system is. Well, there's a lot of downsides to it, but as far as privacy, human rights, ethics, but the upside of it is, to run a business now, all you have to do is create a niche, and the phone will mass surveil everybody in the world. So if there's one person in Iowa who wants what you have, if you grew up in Iowa, you couldn't make a business for one person. But with the internet, you can make an online business that serves that one person. Okay? Now you might hear this and say, well, I want no part of this. I think this is an unethical system of mass surveillance. Hey, I'm right there with you. But what power do you even have right now to stop it? Complaining? You gonna make a post on their platforms? You gonna make a post? You gonna do a one-man protest at City Hall? What are you gonna do? Right? You don't even have the discipline to even build a business, but yet you're gonna change the whole world? What are you gonna do? So I would say one of the first things that most people should do is build a business. Look, I had an Uber driver who drove over here. He might watch this video. He drove me here and he told me all this like behind the scenes stuff about world affairs. And then at the same time, he's like, I'm gonna go hide in Colorado when the nukes come. And I'm like, well, you should take a drive out there. He goes, oh, I can't. I go, bro, do you know how to sleep in your car? He goes, yeah, I can sleep in my car, but if I don't drive Uber for even one day, I can't make my bills that month. Well, why is he so versed in world affairs if the guy can't even take a day off to go look at the mountains that he wants to go hide in? He's wasting his time, right? And what he's actually doing is getting a false sense of importance by studying all this stuff that he can't even do anything with. So why is he even doing it, okay? So from there, what I would say is, look at different opportunities that you have in front of you, would be the first thing I'd say. It is the easiest time to make money right now that has ever been in human history because anybody can start an online internet business. That's actually true. That's what I did. What are you guys here doing right now? Right? You're part of my business right now. If you show this content to most of your friends, what will they say? Weird. What else will they say?
Cult.
Weird, cult, crazy. Of course, everything I'm saying is just fucking bang on, but they'll say that, right? Because they're like, no, Starbucks is reality. So, okay, so if that's the case, I built an 8-figure business based on a niche. So when I make content, do I try to make it more mainstream appealing or weird? My goal is to make my content as weird as fucking possible. Why? Because it's niche. That's the point. I'm gonna be the big bearded guy in a wheelchair that comes up and talks shit. Right? That's called niche. The mass audience of people will fucking hate it, but a niche group of people will be passionate about it because I'll say things that they won't hear somewhere else. So you now have the easiest time in the world to make money. But if I was to audit the average income in here, it's probably 30 to 60K. With a couple super rich guys, there's always a couple super rich guys in the room, a couple guys that are living in their parents' basement, and most people suck around 30, 60K. And you're in the softest, easiest time to make money ever because you're at the end of the empire. You're at the end of the empire, you know, where it's all so, it's so much decadence that basically everyone just starts taking drugs, everybody goes all fucking crazy, and then it all collapses. You're at the end of the empire. Now that's horrible, you should try to stop it, but the point is that, you know, you're probably not in a position to stop it. I'm not saying to not stop it, but who's got a plan to stop it? So if you got a plan to stop it, go do that. I've actually done a lot of good things to try to help stop it. But I did that because I built a fucking business. So I have some degree of power. I've done 2 or 3 major things that were big, big, big difference makers to try to stop it. Big difference makers. Made a difference in your lives. Made a difference in my life. Made a difference in my kids' lives. I was able to do 2 or 3 major things. But that's because I built a business. So if you want to be somebody who has influence, why don't you think about how to use modern tools to go and do that? Okay? But the point being is that if you think of the average human being, why is it that the AI is gonna fucking kill you? Because the AI is gonna kill you, by the way, in my opinion. What is the AI gonna see when it sees the average human being?
Worthless.
What's it, like, other than worthless, what specifically is it gonna see with human beings?
Not ones and zeros.
What's that?
Not ones and zeros.
Yeah, not ones and zeros, but the point is, maybe it could have been something good. But what is it gonna see with most humans? Rationalizing, lazy, excuse making, highly unethical, unaware that they're unethical, fuck each other over, kill each other. So what's it gonna see? It's just gonna see some fucking morons. Okay? So if that's what it's largely gonna see, then the kind of shift that has to happen, if we wanna bail out of this, here's the difference, okay? What used to happen was if you made a lot of money, you would have support groups saying, don't try to help your friends, don't try to help your family, don't try to help random people. And then basically what they'd say is, if you want to help random people, hire the proper people, build up your business, the people that are most skilled, and then give charity. That's what they'd say, okay? So what is the stereotype of rich people and rich people's view of poor people? What's the stereotype?
Lazy.
Selfish.
Psychopathic.
What's that?
Psychopathic.
Psychopath. Selfish, psychopath, cares about themselves, wants the most amount of money, doesn't care about you, could share the wealth but doesn't want to. That's the stereotype. That is a lot of people that are at the very, very top. But aside from the people that are very, very deep in the establishment, what is the mindset of the average self-made entrepreneur in reality? Sad because they see people doing badly, would do anything to help them, has tried things to help them, it doesn't fucking work. Okay, like take myself, right? So I'm really good at social skills, we'll call it, okay? So let's say that we go out, and let's say that I'm talking to someone who I'm very, very attracted to, and you're right here, right? And this is like the person that I'm the most attracted to in like a month, and you're right here. Do you think that I care to maybe just introduce you to that person and say, go nuts? Do you think that I care? Why don't I care?
You can repeat it over and over.
Because I can repeat it within 2 seconds, right? I can repeat, because I understand how to repeat that formula within 2 seconds. If I gave away my business right now, how quickly could I make another one like this? 90 days. So it would not bother me at all to literally give you a business, just give you my business. 90 days later, I give it to you. 9 days later, I'll give it to you. 9 days later, I'll give it to you. 9 days later, I'll give it to you. I'll just keep giving it to you. I could do that right now. And I would. The free tour that I do is my sick, codependent attempt to do that. Sick in the head. Sick in the head. What you're seeing here is my attempt to do that for you. Sick in the head. Sick in the head. You go look at the bill on the free events year by year, you'd be like, this guy's out of his mind. And everyone always thinks there's a business plan to that. There's not. It's just to try to fucking help you. Do I make a bit of money? Do I make a couple sales ever? Sure, I make a couple sales. You think then how come Tony Robbins doesn't do the free tour? Where's the Grant Cardone free tour? It doesn't exist because it's stupid. Because it's called opportunity cost. You could make more at home. What do you think I look like if I go to fucking the Nashville free tour? Okay? What do you think I look like when I get back from that? How tired am I going to be at the end of this week? On Sunday, what will my voice sound like? What will my voice sound like Sunday?
Completely gone.
Annihilated. What will my inflammation in my body look like by Sunday? Oh, my joints will all be stiff. I'll be exhausted. My face will be puffy, more than normal. Okay? My blood pressure will be high, and it'll take me 4 or 5 days to recover. So this is not like a 2-3 day commitment for me. This is about a 10-day commitment every time I do this. That's a third of my month to do a fucking free tour. Okay? So this is my sick, codependent attempt to try to help you. But how many people will actually get helped? I don't know. I'll do what I can, but I don't know. I mean, I made a Telegram group for everybody to get into. Put your hand up if you're in the Telegram group. Put your hand up if you're not in the Telegram group. Okay, for those of you not in the Telegram group, get in the fucking Telegram group. I'm trying to get you a mastermind, okay? Most rich people are sad. Most rich people would give away 100% of their money and take on 50 million or 100 million in debt if they thought it would fix the problem. You tell me right now we can fix poverty, put any amount of debt on me. I don't care. Kill me. Kill me now. We're gonna fix poverty? Kill me, kill my family, kill everybody. Kill this whole room. Right now, we solve poverty? Kill me. Like if I believe that was true, I would on my broken leg, I would race for that button to end my existence if we could just gonna end poverty. Do you understand that? I would do that. I'm not so cool. I'm not so great. I'm not so magnanimous. I mean, you could end fucking poverty. You could end poverty. You could end it? What, for a couple dipshits in here? Fuck y'all. You're all dead. I'm ending poverty. We're all related anyway. My kids, do you understand that I'm 99.99 whatever related to my kids? We're all related like that. The random janitor that you see outside, you're like 99.99999 fucking related to. Okay? Your consciousness, the real you, which is the light of creation in you, is in the janitor. So you don't even die. So you don't have to worry about yourself that much. But how do we actually end poverty? There's no magic button to press, right? There's no magic button. Okay, so there's no magic button to press. Okay, cool. So then if we can't press the magic fucking button, then how do we end poverty? I give you my business. If I give you my business now, you'll fuck it up. You probably could barely catch the bus, right? Because everybody's like that. Everybody's fucking stupid. It's hard enough to wipe your ass without a bit of shit staying inside and getting on your underwear. It's hard enough to fucking jerk off without chafing your dick, okay? It's hard enough to fucking like pick some food that isn't some processed fucking poison designed to fucking kill you. It's hard enough to take a shower and not have hard water in your fucking hair and weird shampoo resin in your fucking hair. And you're gonna run a business? No! You're gonna take my business and you're gonna fucking wreck it. You're gonna go, oh my God, like you'll come up here like looking like it's The Price is Right, like, oh shit, I'm the owner of a business, wow, 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 like that, okay? And within a month you're gonna be in debt. I barely understand how to run this fucking thing. Okay, ask my friends, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay? So, if we can barely, okay, if it took me 20 years to figure this shit out, see, I've always said that the number one asset that I have is I think I'm fucking retard. I always say this, if you'll just call yourself a retard, you're instantly on the path to millions. Just say you're a retard. I'll explain that one later, okay? Anyone, because it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Y'all have the Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm smart. No, you're not. Oh, I got this shit. No, you don't. If you just knew you're retarded, you'd take notes. If you knew that you're retarded, you'd set multiple alarms. If you knew that you're retarded, you'd audit your life. If you knew that you're retarded, you'd learn what's gonna kill you, like we talked about earlier. You don't even know what's gonna fucking kill you. I didn't even know. I'm like, yeah, I'm the seminar leader, I'm smart, listen to me. My blood pressure's 185. I'm like skiing and destroy my leg. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Okay? Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. I can't even figure out why my phone keeps giving me toe cutter videos. I'm just stuck on that shit. Right? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm in like in a loop. What's going on here? Steve? It's real name Steve. Okay, so like, look, it's hard enough not just to get some fucking chick pregnant. Most of you guys in this room don't even use condoms. Most of you guys in this room can't even get laid. But if you could get laid, you'd fuck raw. And then you'd try to pull out, but you'd get one little squirt inside. And then you'd knock up some bridge troll in an alley. Right? You go, I'm gonna pull out, oh, wait, no, I pulled out. Oh shit, was that bad? Right? You can barely resist not taking the bread off the table. Like, I shouldn't take this bread. You're like, maybe when they'll bite. I remember one time I was at this place called Pacific Dining Car. It's like a really nice steak restaurant that went out of business during the pandemic. And I remember so I sat there and I ordered the sourdough bread, and I ate so much sourdough bread I couldn't eat a bite of my steak. I just piled down the sourdough bread. I probably still have like a partial cup on man boob because of that day, okay? Who here's done that? You just start eating the bread. Next thing you know, you're like rolling on the fucking ground, okay? I'm like rolling on the ground, like I ate all the bread. Who here's just like, I haven't drank as an adult, but in high school I used to drink on occasion. Who here like, I'm gonna have one drink, and you fucking black out. You wake up, you're like, what fucking planet am I on? You're fucking puking. You're like, ah, ah, ah. How many of you go out to a bar or club and you're like, I'm gonna talk to people tonight, then you just walk around the club aimless and you go home? Okay? So, come on, you're retarded. How is that bad? We're all retarded. That acknowledgement that you're a retard is the beginning of millions. Could you guys know the definition of the Dunning-Kruger effect? You know what that is? Dumb people think they're smart. Okay? You want to be a smart person that thinks they're dumb. Fuck all this high self-esteem bullshit. What's high self-esteem gonna get you? I have low self-esteem. Okay? Low self-esteem, son. Okay? Low self-esteem, scarcity, low self-esteem, lack of self-love. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding, but I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. I don't know if I'm kidding. That's my point, I'm retarded. Okay? So, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying up here, okay? What would you do if you admitted that you're retarded? How would that change your life? How would that change your life today? That'll be my new book, okay? You are fucking retard. How would that change your life today if you admitted you're a retard?
I would take notes, and I would get 3 timers.
Yeah, okay, he got it. Someone here might not even be retarded. So what would you do different? Well, I'll show you what you do different. My entire methodology is based off the fact I'm a retard. Okay? My whole methodology. I've got a whole methodology that if anyone would apply, within a half decade, you'd be a multimillionaire, almost for sure. I can't guarantee anything, but almost for sure. You'd smash it socially. Your dating life would be off the fucking chains. You'd have it all. You'd be super fucking healthy. You'd be traveling. You'd have it all sorted. But you've got to admit you're retarded. Look, you're listening to a fucking retard in a wheelchair with a massive beard who doesn't know what planet he's on, okay? We're all a group of retards, but we're all gonna make it together, okay? We're all gonna get to the finish line together, okay? You will see on Sunday, you will remember, we will get to the fucking finish line, okay? I don't care how fucking stupid you are, I don't give a fuck. You can be successful. I don't care. Give me the most retarded motherfucker on the planet, he can be successful, okay? But the starting point is just realizing your natural tendency to be a fuck up. If you get that, you could literally do damn near anything. Look, I'll give you like a simple example. Then we're gonna get back on the kind of train of thought that I was on. Here's a simple example. I understand that when I go out to a club that I'm a kind of heavy logic type guy. I'm very heavy on the logic, right? So heavy on logic, it's a weight in the mind. So it makes it very, very difficult to socialize. So if I know that about myself, then when I go out, I'm not going to assume, see what most of you guys do when you go out and you're like, oh, I'm going to approach tonight. I'm going to approach. But you don't. Let's be honest. You don't. So if you could be honest with yourself about that, then you can make a method that would force you to actually engage with people. What would that look like? Okay, well, I know that I'm gonna have inner resistance. So and you have what's called action-taking momentum, and you have excuse-making momentum. You ever notice when you go to the top of a diving board, you remember when you were a kid, you went to the top of a diving board and you're too scared to jump, and then you thought that if you went down to calm down a bit and gather yourself, that when you went up again, it would be easier. You remember that? Do you remember that? Anyone not remember that? Okay, do you remember how weird that was though as a kid? You're like, wait a sec, I went back up the second time and I'm more scared. I feel more adrenaline pooling in my body. It's a weird thing that we get, right? Now, do you remember that breakthrough that you had as a kid when you said, fuck it, and you got right to that swimming pool with your parents maybe, and you went, fuck it, and you stormed to the diving board, and you just ran up, and you just forced yourself off, and you were like, fuck, and then you went, and then as soon as you got out, you went right back to the diving board again. You're like, fuck. Maybe even had a bit of water up your nose. Your sinuses hurt. And you're like, right? And then you jumped off, boom, you did it again. And you started looping, right? And that was your first lesson as a kid that momentum is very, very powerful, right? Momentum's everything. Momentum is everything, okay? So if you want to know how I made most of the money that I've ever made, here's the best way that I'd put it to you. All my money got made in a state of high momentum, value for time, and total fucking focus. That's how all the money I ever made got made. Okay, it means eliminating distraction, locking in, seeing what it is that you want to build, and putting dedicated time on that thing without distraction, and being in a state of momentum where you do it every fucking day or as much as you can. Maybe you have a weekend off, whatever, right? Vacation. But you do it a lot, okay? That's how you make money. So the way that I learned social skills was I was like, okay, I know that I make a lot of excuses. And so I spent, frankly, to be honest with you, I spent about a decade just auditing my excuses. Learning to go and meet random people is one of the best ways to see how your mind is going to come up with excuses. What are some excuses your brain will come up with when you're going to go meet a random person? Let's shout some of them out. I know you guys know these. Too tired, too busy.
Ugly.
Not attractive. What else? Too shy. What else? Oh, they're with somebody. You know, they're surrounded by people. I'll do it later. I'll check out. I'm going to go to the bar for a second. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, right? So in knowing that, then what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to learn every single excuse that I have. And then I wrote all those down. And then I made a methodology that's very simple, but if I follow it, I will literally talk to every single person at that venue, every night I go out. Now, if every night that I go out, I talk to it's probably not every single person, it's probably about 90% of the people in that venue, every night I go out, and I do that for 2 decades, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna learn social skills? Am I? Yes or no?
Yes.
Even if I'm retarded, will I learn social skills?
Yes.
So that's actually a retard methodology. I made a methodology as a retard to go do that, okay? Now, going deeper, even if I never did get social skills, but I met that many people, what would wind up happening if I just met that many people? Would I build relationships? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd find someone who's weird like me. Whatever weirdness I have, they found interesting. So I'm still gonna win either way. I'm stacking the chips in my favor. So that methodology is used in understanding that you're not functioning properly. By the way, do you want to know the other Frank methodology that you usually use to get very successful? You usually have to get mastermind groups, and you have to find other people that are in the same mode as you for accountability. The way that most people get success is this, okay? You have people who you pay that are above your level that will show you the highest level paradigms and show you the path and the map and raise your standards by osmosis and what they teach you directly. Then you have groups of people at your level that are coming from a similar place to what you're coming from. And what you do with them, thank you, and what you do with them is you constantly talk to each other all the time. And then you have people below you and you go and you teach them whatever area that is that you've made some progress, even if you're not that good yet. Okay? And then you have constant reminders, you have alarms everywhere, and you're basically just fighting your own brain all the time. Okay? So what I'll try to show you here this weekend is the way that I go about this. Like, if you look at my life, everything is heavily, heavily, heavily audited. Okay? So in other words, I know what an hour of my time is worth. I know where I'm putting my focus. I understand who in my life is adding to my life and who is taking from my life. Now, it doesn't always have to be transactional, by the way. It could be fun. I understand what food I'm putting in my body and where it's taking me. I understand what things I need to study. I understand how much free time I have. Okay, let me even just say like another fucked up thing that a lot of you guys have never thought of. I would say, okay, I helped Ibrahim to learn how to ski this year because I want him to also help my kids ski. Ibrahim, how old are you? Ibrahim, how old are you?
Right now, 35.
35, okay? How many people that are 35 years old do you think pick up a new hobby? This is kind of messed up, right? How many 35-year-old men or women pick up a new hobby? They don't. When is the last time that any of you genuinely picked up a new hobby? It's probably one or two of you in the room. Most of you in this room, you're delusional. You think that you're going to pick up new hobbies. You're not, right? So even to pick up a new hobby takes you doing massive calculations. Look, people are surprised by this. I know what my schedule looks like for the next 2 years, okay? Like, I know my schedule by memory, okay? After this, let me give you a simple example. I'm doing this event, then I'm doing, just to show you that I know what I'm talking about, then I'm doing Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, Portland, Seattle, Honolulu, Chicago, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, DC, Louisiana, aka New Orleans, Houston, Dallas, Austin, we're gonna do LA, we're gonna do Phoenix, Vegas, San Diego, Salt Lake City, and now we're at close to a year out. I'm going to, after Salt Lake, I'm doing Orlando, Miami, San Francisco, I'm doing Denver, okay? That would be my next year of events, okay? So I know those by heart. That's just simply events. I also know what places I'm traveling to in the outdoor. I know how much time that's gonna take. I know what it's gonna cost. I know the budget on all of these things. I've got budgets down, times down. I'm kind of like an air traffic controller. So I'm sitting there constantly, okay, here's where we're gonna go, here's how it's gonna happen, here's the budgets, here's the range of money that may come in, here's what we would do. It's like, and everything, by the way, is an accordion. Here's what we do if we have the most money come in, here's what we do if we have average money come in, here's what we do if we have the least money come in. I also know that in my business. If we have more money, we hire this many people. If we have this money, we hire less people. This is the kind of quality of people that we can get. This is the growth rate that we can get. This is the budgets that we can perceive, all that stuff. We know every single possible thing, okay? We know all of it. And all that I do all day is just sit around auditing what it is that I'm doing. But the thing is, can I actually hold myself accountable for any of this? Fuck no, okay? So what are my staff paid to do? They're paid to hold me accountable, okay? So a lot of people, they'll see me, doing a breakdown with a student, I'm giving them a hard time, or I'm calling them retarded, or whatever the fuck. And they're like, oh my God, that's mean. I'm like, I pay $300,000 a month in staff to yell at me and call me retarded. Unless I'm like an S&M guy and I don't realize it, there's gotta be some kind of a purpose to that. Okay, so if I were to call up my staff, like if I were to pull up my WhatsApp right now, and I start showing you audios or videos that my staff is sending me, do these look, and these are people that I pay, is it stuff that's friendly? Is it like encouraging? Is it like, oh, you're doing great, and I saw the new video and I love the video? I don't need to pay people for that. That's what you guys are for. So what am I paying people for? What are they saying to me?
Honest feedback.
Honest feedback, right? What kind of honest feedback?
How are you doing?
What do you guys think? Come on. What kind of honest feedback? Don't just put it on him. What kind of honest feedback?
Criticism.
Criticism. What else?
Video quality.
What kind of things do you think maybe they're critiquing me on?
Video quality.
Response on videos from customers.
Yeah, videos. What else?
How clear you are.
How clear am I speaking? What else?
Maybe sensitive topics.
Yeah, sensitive topics. What else?
Word choice.
Word choice. What else? I mean, you guys are scratching the surface. It's everything. Anything that you haven't even thought of, we're looking at, okay? That's how money gets made. You're looking at yourself and you're going, okay, well, here's where I'm using my time. Here's how I'm doing. Now, by the way, keep in mind, I took off 10 months a year, bitches, for almost half a decade. 10 months a year I didn't work. Now that meant that I did it for 4 years. For 4 years, I had to be able to work only about 2-3 months a year. What do you think I learned from only working 2 or 3 months a year but maintaining revenue? Didn't grow my social media, but I maintained revenue. How do you and kept the business profitable? What do you think I learned by only working 2 or 3 months a year for 4 years? Efficiency and how to make more, okay? So right now, for example, our business has around the same amount of numbers as it did when we used to be about 10 times the size. You guys have been to events that are 10 times the size of this. If we're making around the same now, and then I would just grow back my old existing audience size, what do you think? And we're about a $12 million a year company now. What would that mean if we grew back to our old audience size? How much money would the business be making?
120.
Yeah, we'd be a 9-figure business. Okay? So all that I'd have to do is just come home to LA for 2-3 years, 9-figure business. I just don't care because I like to party. And frankly, I have enough money, so I don't really care that much. But why do you also think that I took off a half decade? Why did I take off a half decade at 40 and not just go for more money?
Live your life. Children.
I've come to believe that this is another fuck up of modern society. I think it needs to become normal that we do a 5-year retirement from 40 to 45. That has to get normalized. It has to be normalized. What are some things that you think, what are some things that I did from 40 to 40, well, I'm almost 45 now. What do you think are some things that I did from 40 to 45 that were valuable by being semi-retired for close to half a decade? That's the big one right there. Have you guys ever seen my kids' Instagram? Okay, if you want to make this real to you, okay, do something. I'm not just being a proud dad. I want to make this real to you. Pull out your phones right now. Look up Dylan Cook. DYLAN COOK. Dylan Cook. Look that up, okay? Go look at what my kids' lives look like. Imagine this was your life. DYLAN COOK. What are you guys seeing in my kids' Instagram?
Traveling.
I mean, have you ever seen a kid's Instagram this awesome? Anywhere? Ever? That's my kid. What if I hadn't taken that half decade off? Now, you know what's fucking crazy? My kid goes to the top school in the LA school district for gifted kids. Who do you think's the highest grade kid in the school? My son. Guess how much of school year he attended? Fucking fuck all. Do you know how much trouble I'm in with the school district? They're so pissed. They said that next year he can only miss 5 days or they're gonna kick him out. They're so pissed because I kept taking him out of school. They call yelling and shit. I'm like, yeah. Okay? So I did this with my kids. I took him, why is it that I took my kid out of school and his grades are the highest?
He enjoys life.
Winter effects. He's learning things in real life. He's not disassociated in a fucking bubble. He's seen what real life looks like. Now, my kid is spoiled. Okay, like my rule with Dylan is A, you could do whatever you want. B, I'll never tell you what to do. 3, I'll buy you whatever you want. And 4, I'll take you wherever you want. That's the only rules. Okay? You can buy whatever you want. I'll take you wherever you want. You could do whatever you want. I'll never discipline you at all. I'll never hit you. I'll never ground you. You can do anything you want. That's the only rules. Okay? What do you think happens if I bring him to a toy store and say, buy whatever you want? Gets one toy or none. What do you think what happens? I tell him you can stay up as late as you want. What do you think he says? He looks at me like I'm a fucking moron. He's like, I'm not staying up late. He's like, oh, you got a big day tomorrow. Fuck off. Goes to bed. Doesn't even say fuck off. He just goes to bed. You think he ever misbehaves or acts bad? Never. I never had to discipline him. Never acts bad. What do you think his ethics are like? Super high. Goes and helps people, helps his brothers, helps people around him. Super high integrity, super high ethics. He's fucking hilarious. He could do public speaking. And by the way, I never taught him shit. I never taught my kids anything. I never sat my kids down and went, here's how you do this and that, little kid. I never did any of that. Did any of you listen to your parents? Who here listened to their fucking parents? I didn't listen to my parents. I don't give a fuck what my parents said. What do we care about as kids? We care what our parents do. Okay? So I never got mad in front of my kids. I've never been sick in front of my kids. I've never been broke in front of my kids. I've never been mad in front of my kids. I've never yelled at my kids. They don't even know what that is. You know what's weird with Dylan? This is fucking weird. He's 12 and he still believes in Santa Claus. That is fucking weird. Okay? Why do you think a 12-year-old kid who's hyper intelligent believes in Santa Claus? Can you guess? Think about it. Why would he still believe? He's hyper logical. If you ask him about Santa Claus, he's like, of course I believe in fucking Santa Claus. The fuck's wrong with you? Of course there's Santa Claus. Why does he believe in Santa Claus? Because life is awesome. Of course there's Santa Claus. Because it's fucking cool. That's why. He believes it because it's cool. He believes it because it's happy. What do most people think? The world sucks. I hate the world. The world's a shitty place. So what happens if you don't have time off to spend with your kids in your 40s or 50s or whatever, whenever your kids are kind of coming of age? What happens if you don't have that time to spend with them? Now you don't get to be around your kids. You don't get to take them around anywhere. You can't afford to buy them anything. You can't afford to educate them. I'm not talking some education just in public school or even a private school. I'm talking real education. You got to understand, you can't buy your way out of this, guys. You're not buying your way out of this with your kids. You've got to spend real time with them. I spend real time with my children. I was willing to hurt my business to spend real time with my children. So the school system, what is the school system built to do? What kind of people is it built to produce? Workers, okay? See, this here, this is a free event, right? This is a free event where I'm recording YouTube videos. This event here is basically a swagger jack of 90s and early 2000s self-help, okay? 90s and early 2000s self-help, aka, or not even 90s, 2000s, like self-help done from the 60s all the way up until about the early 2000s was basically done in conference rooms where you came and you heard inspiring speeches by a guru. This is a very, very specific style of education that would have been done up until the early 2000s. Now, I do this because it's for free, but what is my selfish agenda for being here doing this event? So you guys are getting what would have been about a 5 or 10K event completely for free at the free tour, but what is my agenda for being here? What am I getting out of this? I get to work on some public speaking. Like I view this like as if I have like a polo horse. That's how I view the free tour. It's like a polo horse. Okay? It's like this really expensive hobby. That's how I view the free tour. It's a very, when I'm doing the free tour, it's me gathering groups of people to work on improvisational public speaking skills. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm here, okay? So you guys are like my polo horse. That's how I think of it. Cool side is you get like a 5, 10K event if it was like the 90s or the 2000s for free. But how do you really teach if I was gonna really teach you? In a room? Fuck no. I would never teach you in a fucking room. If I was really teaching you, how would I teach you? In field, of course. You learn more in the field in 2 minutes than you'll learn in a room, right? Or exercise driven. Because they say that you remember like 5% of what you read, 10% of what you hear, and about half of what you do. Even in an infield training, you still only remember about half, but that's as good as it gets, so that's a 10 out of 10. It's about half. Half is good. Let me show you guys a couple basic distinctions here that I'm trying to put on you, okay? A couple takeaways. First one is, you're a retard. Second one is, just stretching a bit. Second one is, okay, so when I say retard, what do I mean? Assume that your brain is basically fucking empty and that you're fucking useless, and then come up with systems that accommodate that. If you come up with systems that accommodate that, you are very, very, very likely to be very successful, okay? And not to need to have a computer chip put in your brain. And then there's that, right? So that would be the first one, okay? The second one is realize the shit that's gonna kill you, okay? Have some understanding of what's going to kill you and make some adaptations to that. That's another thing that I try to put, okay? You're gonna wind up dying out in a hot, like, you know what's fucked up? Think of all the things that you learned from me over the years if you watch my stuff. Imagine that you're sitting there dying in the hospital and you literally learn about this from watching a free tour video, right? Think about all the other times I was like, oh, this will happen with dating or this will happen with social skills. The same shit's gonna happen at the end of your life. Most of you in this room are gonna die in a hospital. Very, very, very unhappy, okay? So what are maybe some changes that you should make to avoid that? Because I just experienced it. I wanna make a video about it because I just experienced it. It sucked. You know what the guy said? The guy that said he wanted to paint himself with honey? The surgeon? I said, haha, you're kidding, right? You don't want a bear to kill you. He goes, no, you're right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit at the edge of Big Sur, and when I know I'm dying, I'm gonna just lean over and fall off the edge of Big Sur. That guy works at a good hospital, and that's what he's saying, okay? So if that's the case, if that's how bad it is, that's coming for you guys. Why doesn't the system care that that's coming for you guys? Because they're gonna get all your money. They're not warning you because A, it's not their responsibility to warn you, but B, they're gonna get all your money. What do you think that's gonna cost you when you die out like that? Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, either in insurance or whatever. Another lesson, what does it mean to be really human? And let's start thinking a little bit about that. What does it really mean to be human? What is a good human life? Momentum. What is time? What is money? What is energy? The other thing, learning. Yes, this will be a 1,000 times better learning environment than you'll get anywhere else for free. It's way better than a YouTube video. You're gonna network with people here, get in the Telegram groups, get in the different groups. But all that said, you learn by doing. Another quick lesson, work so that you can actually have some time off, so that you can take your kids on vacations, so that you can take your kids to actually have a positive experience, so that you can actually take some time off. Why was it worth more to me, even if it cost me a ton of money to take off half a decade? Why was that worth more?
Because you have your time back.
Why would you even do all this if you can't take some time off? If you have to understand, we have to start viewing the weekend as mandatory. The weekend has to be mandatory. Having a couple years off in middle age to spend with your kids has to be viewed as mandatory. We don't view it as mandatory. We view it as this weird thing that like weirdos do. Like retirement has to be viewed as mandatory. So you've got to have some kind of a game plan to begin attacking this stuff, and to actually be serious about it. By the way, remember retard, right? It's hard to even remember to turn our phones off. That's actually true. I probably left mine on too. Okay? That's human nature. So that's another thing, okay? So what I'm trying to get through to you guys here is I'm trying to sort of point out to you your own unconscious nature, okay? Your own unconscious nature. And what I'm saying, and what I'm trying to explain to you is that, and this sort of like loops back into the start of the talk, we're at a sort of a tipping point, right? We're at this sort of fork in the road where we are either going to learn to take accountability and we're going to learn to take responsibility, or they're going to microchip us. I mean, frankly, that's probably going to happen anyway, but they're going to microchip us. They're going to wear down our will with a bunch of fucking trinkets. We're going to lose our freedom, right? We're not going to be worthy of our freedom anymore. So this has to be, you have to understand, this generation, in the same way that World War II was the greatest generation, this generation is going to have to become the greatest generation. Or you think whatever bad would have happened from World War II is bad? That's going to be on some lightweight shit, okay? So this has to be the greatest generation. The only way that we're going to maintain freedom is it looks something like this, okay? Here's what maintaining freedom looks like. Maintaining freedom would mean a population of people that have accountability and people who can handle their own shit. That way the population isn't weak and you can't come to them and bribe them with trinkets. That's what it would have to look like. They're like, here, want a trinket? No, I'm good, okay? It would have to be an independent population. Another thing too, here's another reality. You also have to have a population that is, in my personal view, connected to God, because otherwise you don't have ethics in most cases. So, in order not to have like massive security issues, you can't have a bunch of fucking psychos running around, okay? You can't have a bunch of psychos running around. Now, you know what's hilarious? I'm from fucking Canada. What do you guys think my opinions of guns is coming from Canada, seeing America? What do you think our opinion is of America with this Second Amendment thing? Growing up, what do you think we thought of the Second Amendment? What do you think I would think of the Second Amendment as a Canadian growing up? Why would I think it's bad?
They don't have guns.
What's that?
They don't have guns in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at a bunch of like mass shootings, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with America? Why do they have all these guys are crazy. Why do they have guns? These guys are fucking crazy. And then you see these backwoods rednecks that are like, government, gotta hide from the government. And you're like, these are the people that are determining the laws? Is some redneck in the backwoods who's afraid of the government? But then, what happened to countries like Canada or Australia or New Zealand that are disarmed largely in COVID?
Police state.
Endless lockdown. You know what's fucked up? Why is the government making weird backwoods rednecks look brilliant? See, I grew up as a liberal. Stop making them right. Why are you making them own us? Why are you taking some weird backwoods fucking redneck guy in his fucking truck and you're making him right about everything? You see that? Do you guys know how long the lockdowns lasted in Australia? I mean, it was forever. Did you guys see what happened in Ottawa, Canada? With the truckers? Yeah. It's insane. You see what Trudeau did?
Brutal.
My uncle Ramsey Cook was one of the biographers for Pierre Trudeau. His dad, who was our most famous prime minister. I was proud of that. I used to brag about that. So, but the problem is, if you've got a bunch of fucking psychos and then the populations aren't, so your choices are the government running a fucking 2-year lockdown, or the population actually not being disarmed, which probably prevents the lockdown, but then some of them are fucking nuts and they shoot each other. That's the rock and a hard place that you're stuck between. And then you just sort of pick where you land on the political spectrum of where you think that should be, and neither side is wrong. So how do we get past that? Well, what we're doing is we're allowing the population to grow up like fucking retarded. Right? So you have some fucking, and look, you want to talk about some of these weird fucking psychos that did some of this bad shit? There was actually groups of people out there that helped these people to integrate and not to be mad, right? To prevent isolation, right? And then what'd they do to those people? They canceled them. Okay? Because they thought that you just push the problem in some corner and think it'll go away, but it festers. So there's no release valve there. So if you think about where we're going, you can't, so here's the point that I was making, okay? Let's circle back to an earlier point. When you get rich, you sit there learning that you have to accept that the average person is too dumb, and that if you give them money, they're gonna fuck it up. You have exactly how much money you should have, by the way. You have exactly how much money you should have. No one's holding it back from you, okay? So you have as much money as your spiritual growth allows you to have. You have as much money as your success barriers allow you to have. You have as much money as you care to have. If you don't care, then you don't care. You have as much money as your skills allow you to have, as your self-accountability allow you to have. People that have accountability are so rare, they can charge a high premium. There's people, you gotta understand, I have employees that are my boss. There's employees that I have that could scare the living shit out of me if they were to quit. Why? And so they can demand more money out of me. Are they really an employee at that point? Is that really an employee? If you're that vital to a business that they can scare the shit out of you if they were to quit, are they an employee?
It's a key person.
It's not an employee. They're your boss. Right? Well, what are the qualities that you think of my staff, the ones that are so good that they can scare the fuck out of me?
Very hard to replace what they can do.
Unreplaceable. Linchpin by Seth Godin's a great book to read about that. Linchpin by Seth Godin's a great book to read about that. Could write it down if you want. Okay? They're linchpin. They're that vital. You don't, like, when Michael Jordan plays for the Chicago Bulls, who's the boss?
Michael Jordan.
Right? Now, if they give him pushback and they go, no, we're not going to give you what you want, he can quit, they're going to lose money. So, there's some of that happened with Jerry Krause and all that. So, you have to understand the future, it's not going to be, the way that it goes for most rich people now is you sit there with other entrepreneurs going, I wish my younger brother would get some progress. I wish I could give my business to my kid and that he could continue the business. I wish I could help people that are broke. And then you sit there having to console each other going, don't try to fix people. You can't fix people. People who don't want to be fixed can't be fixed. They have to want it for themselves. And they sit there consoling each other, okay? So that is what life has looked like up until now. And you did that as a self-discipline because you knew that if you went and you fixed somebody, they would wreck it. You already knew that, okay? You knew that. You knew you couldn't change people. I've tried to change people. You can't. I've given people everything. They will go back to exactly where they're at. If they started here, you pull them to here, they're going to go back to here. And they're going to hate you by the end of it. And they're going to have all sorts of crazy stories about it, that you're the bad guy. It never works, okay? So if that's the case, that was how things worked up until now. Why is that no longer acceptable? Any guesses? What's going to happen if we just allow people to fail at this point? Well, COVID. right? I had no fear of going outside during COVID. Why didn't I care if I went outside during COVID? Why didn't I care if I left my house during COVID?
Because you're young enough and your immune system's pretty healthy, you don't have pre-existing conditions.
I never got COVID. I tried everything to get COVID. My girlfriend would catch COVID, and I would try to get it from her. I could never get it. I wanted COVID. Spit in my mouth, baby. Couldn't get it. I wanted COVID. I couldn't get it. So, but what happened was people who don't take responsibility put me in house arrest. So it starts with shit like people that can't handle their own shit create taxes. Then it goes to people who can't handle their own shit, make more regulation for the derpers, more regulation for the derpers, more regulation for the derpers. Who here could even name all the regulations? You've got to pay lawyers to name all the regulations to handle the derpers. Well, where's the trajectory go? Lock down the derpers. Just lock them down. Like animals. Like fucking cattle. Lock down the derpers. Lock them down. Come on. Don't want to hurt grandma. Lockdown. So that's where it goes. Do you think it ends at lockdown? That's where this ends? Well, we kind of hit the limit. You know, yeah, we locked down the derpers. We kind of hit the limit. Doesn't end there. Where does this end? What was the justification to lock down the derpers?
To keep them safe.
The justification to lock down the derpers is that other people could get hurt, right? Okay, how many women a year die in childbirth? Lots. Will they allow natural childbirth in the future? How many people a year die from cars? Will they allow you to drive your own car in the future? Do you think that you'll die still allowed to drive your own car? Do you think you'll die allowed to have a baby out of a woman? If a certain number of women die in childbirth, do you think they're going to let that keep going? You could be risking your life. I mean, pregnancy is pretty wild, guys. That will be viewed as archaic. Okay? Can't let the derpers have a kid. Can't let the derpers drive a car. Can't let the derpers run around. Can't let the derpers increase the carbon. Right? That's where it's going. Is it not? Who here has I mean, I'd love a counterexample, but I can't think of one. That's where this is going. Don't let the derpers have the right to self-defense. Okay? So you have to understand, if we just let the world keep being derpers, if that's what keeps happening, where's this going? It's going to affect you. You're going to get fucked. You're already getting fucked by derpers. Do you understand? Derpers have their dicks so far up your ass, you don't even know what the fuck's going on. They're blasting loads in your ass right now. All this little bullshit regulation and all this shit is to accommodate derpers, for the most part. Not all of it, like, plain stuff, but it's largely to accommodate derpers, right? It's not for intelligent people, right? Do you have to worry that an intelligent person is going to go shoot somebody up? Or an ethical person? Do you have to worry that an intelligent person can't take care of themselves? So obviously, okay, they talk about things like poverty. The average person that is mad about poverty has never read a marketing book. It's like, okay, you're mad about poverty? Name the last 5 marketing books you read. Let's go to your Instagram and see who you're following. Show me what videos you watch about how to make money. There's more free resources available right now on how to make money than there's ever been at any point in history. And it's easier to make money now than any point in history. But people are still complaining, oh, I can't figure it out. But there's also more distraction now. And there's also more bait to be retarded. So the future's not, you have to understand, the future's not going to be let the derpers derp. That's over. 2020 showed that. The derpers, if we let the derpers keep derping, it's done. You will lose all your freedom. And by the way, there's armies of derpers. Armies of them. And they will fight you, and they will blame you. They will blame you for their derping, not themselves. And then what will happen is the very most powerful people will come in and offer them solutions, like stormtroopers. And what they will do is they will offer them solutions, they will brainwash them, they will craft narratives that appeal to the mind of the derper, and they'll tell them it's not their fault, and they'll tell them that they're not accountable for it. And then what will happen is, you see, you need to understand what happens here. Once someone is too dumb, they can't actually hear the solution. Do you guys watch the public speaking competition that we did earlier this week? What did you see? We gave people the answer. They couldn't take the fucking answer. They come up, hey, do this, do this, do this. They can't do it. We just told you, talk louder. Oh, okay. They don't talk louder. You know why? Because the mind is so rotted that they can't take simple instructions that a 12-year-old could take. The mind's too rotted. So the only way that we're going to pull out of this is individually first and then collectively. And it can't just be about competition anymore. I would rather teach other people to compete with me and not have society just run over than get all the money for myself. So, as cool as this sounds, it starts with you individually. People love to talk about what everybody else should do. But collectively, we have to do this. No, that is you waiting for the group think to accommodate you and to brainwash you because you can't do it on your own. Okay, the society's in low vibe energy. Well, then you be high vibe. Society's derpers. Then you don't be a derper. Okay? So, here's what's going to have to happen in my view. Individuals that have a half-sentient brain are going to have to double down on that and 10x down on their half-sentient brain and then figure out how to use it properly. Then it's going to have to become popular culture to take accountability. And what's going to happen is America will be the last country in the world that actually has freedom. However, it's possible that the country will get overrun by the derpers, and then what's going to wind up happening is America at its core is not the geography. If you live here and you don't have accountability and you're a derper, you're not American. You're not. You're not. You're not. Okay? If you blame someone other than yourself, you're not American. You're not. You're not. So what may happen is that we may lose the motherland of freedom. That may be gone, and it will be on an island somewhere. And it will be the last little light of freedom where people don't need to be told what to do by a fucking microchip or a fucking system. That's what you're looking at. But you have to understand, the derping is accelerating. So you're getting it to where people that are taking responsibility are doing it more so, and then people that are derping are doing it more so. Because the problem is derping is a drug addiction. So if you understand drugs at a core level, what is so terrifying about certain drugs is that what do you guys think is so bad about certain drugs? Like really bad drugs. What do you guys think is the bad part?
Addiction. Loss of brain. You cannot get the cure.
What's that?
It prevents you from getting the cure.
Prevents you from getting the cure, yep.
It feels great the first time and then you start wanting to chase that first time.
Yeah, so it gives you a good front end. What do certain drugs, if you get addicted, do on the back end? Here's what it does. It erodes your prefrontal cortex, so the very brake system that would stop you from using them is eroded, so you can't stop yourself anymore. Then it makes you feel really, really good, but then that causes your life to get very, very bad. So then you don't want to live in your life anymore because your life fucking sucks, but you don't have a brake on anymore, so then you're just like, fuck it, and then you just keep doing them again and again and again. So someone on heroin just winds up in the street. If you wake up in the middle of the street, right? And think about how hard your life is to fix now, going relatively decent. Imagine that you wake up here in downtown, teeth missing, face looks like a fucking golem, look all fucked up, no money, your brain doesn't work, you can't concentrate, you feel like shit, you're in withdrawals, so you feel like fucking horrible, but then you can go from feeling negative 1,000 to positive 1,000 for $10. Why would you stop? You're not going to stop. The lesser version of that is modern day culture. Modern day culture is also a drug. It's just a modern day version. Also, modern day version is a lesser version of slavery. Okay? Slavery didn't end. It just ended in its most vile form. You don't need to whip somebody and chain somebody to enslave them. Those fuckers were just sadistic, sick fucks that weren't as creative as the modern people. They were sadistic, sick fucks that are burning in hell that simply were not as creative. You can easily get someone to just do whatever the fuck you want. That's a joke without all the friction and controversy. Do you think you don't need to do a war to destroy a country? Go look up Yuri Bezmenov. You don't need to like go storm the beaches of Normandy to fuck a country up. How do you fuck a country up? You just demoralize the country. You make the country hate itself. Fuck America. Fuck the country. War bad. Then everybody fucking hates it. It goes to shit. Look, when you run a business, okay, look, you run a business, right? What is the single most important foundation of a business? Morale. We're fucking awesome. We love each other. We're in this together. We're going somewhere. From bottom right to the top. We're all in this together. We're going to the fucking promised land. What is the vision of America right now? Where are we going? What's the best visions we have? Elon's doing some great stuff. Who else is even doing anything right now? What are you even excited about in America? What are you even excited about? Name something. Show me wrong.
Owen Cook.
Me, yeah, it's all me. Yeah, and the retard uprising. So, okay, what else? What are you excited about? What are you fucker? You live in the best country ever in human history. What are you even proud of or excited about? Your business. Yeah. Cool. What else?
Kendrick Lamar diss.
The Kendrick Lamar Drake diss. Not bad. It's a hell of a diss. What are you even excited about? Do you love the other people in your country? Do you want everybody to be included? When you go out, do you try to help other random people? Where do you see us going? Do you guys feel, if you guys right now, if I said, where do you feel as the morale as a part of being an American, what would you rate your morale out of 10? Shut it out. That's fucked up. What should it be if you live in the best country in the world? 10. 10. 10. 10. Only 10. That's it. 10. Nothing but 10. What do you think the people who live here? Awesome. What do you think for people that are struggling? Help them. How do you help them? Give them free shit? No. Help them to help themselves. Right? What can we build? Anything. What can we accomplish? Anything. But that's not where we're at psychologically, right? There's no morale there. But the thing is, okay, you're mad there's no morale. Who has to create the morale? Who does? Who has to create the morale? Who? Who's the morale creator?
I do.
Okay? Fuck all these people that are waiting for someone else to create it. Fuck them. Okay? Fuck them. Fuck those people. Okay? It's on you. You are the person. You have as much capability as anybody else. So if it's not you, then who is it? If it's not you, then who? Somebody else. They'll go do it. They should do this. They should do that. Who the fuck is they? It's you. You understand? It's you. What do you think I teach my kids? If I'm talking to Dylan, I'm talking to Tristan, what do I tell them? If you want better, you make it. You want a better country? Make it a better country. Make it a better country. You make it a better country. It's not on somebody else. It's on you. You want to live in a great country. You don't want to be a fucking slave derper, fucking microchip, fucking locked down? Then do something about it. Go and do something about it. It's not on anyone but you. There's no one else. So if that's the case, and you're inspired by that vision, then if that's true for you, then what does that mean? You start small. You don't start with changing the whole world. What do you start with?
Yourself.
You start by changing yourself, right? Okay? So when you're a young person in your 20s, for example, you have goals and you go after certain goals. Once you learn to get your own shit down, then you can build something. So here's how it should look, okay? Most people start off employed by somebody else. Don't wait till you have the perfect job in order to start taking responsibility. Start taking responsibility now. Master what you're doing. Then what you do is maybe you build up a specific skill. Maybe you hire some other people and you're a leader for those other people. Then you teach them how to be leaders. Don't just be a leader yourself. Create other leaders. Then they can be leaders. Then they create leaders. Leaders create leaders. Then from there, you grow what it is that you're doing. Then, like I said, maybe you hit your 40s. Take a couple years off. What do you think is another reason that I took 4 or 5 years off from work? Was it just to spend time with my kids and enjoy my life? What are some other things I might have done with those 4 or 5 years off? Self-reflect on what it is that I want to do. Like, you've got to actually start to align the compass point. Well, what am I doing? Like, what am I fucking doing? The cool thing with taking off a half a decade is you get to do every selfish thing that you wanted to do. You know, you get to do all this badass selfish shit that was fun. So I got to do all the fun stuff. I went all over the country. I did all the fun stuff I want to do. I have almost nothing left that I want to do. That's kind of weird, right? I've done almost every single fun thing that I wanted. So then once you've done all the fun things that you wanted, it actually becomes boring. Oh, another $1,000 dinner, another mansion, another party, another girl. It's fun, I guess, but it's like a 6 out of 10 fun. So once you've actually accomplished your goals, what do you think actually becomes fun for you? Big fucking goals, right? Big goals. Bigger mountains to climb. You know, if you've never been to, say, I don't know, Sequoia National Park. Who has been, I try to always tell people in LA to go to Sequoia. Who's been to Sequoia? Mercy, go to fucking Sequoia. Okay, put that on your list right now, Sequoia, okay? Okay, 3 hours away. 3 hours away, biggest tree in the world. Okay, so, you know, so go to Sequoia. After you go to Sequoia, maybe go to Redwood. Or you maybe go to Yosemite. After you go to Yosemite, maybe you drive the Oregon coast. After you drive the Oregon coast, maybe you go to Montana. Maybe you go to Wyoming. After you do that, maybe you go to Alaska, right? You build it up over time. It's a journey. It's meant to be fun. It's a journey. But what happens is that you're going to want to do bigger and bigger goals. So I had to what I did was I spent 4 years in the fucking forest just thinking of what it is that I want to do. Okay? So you've got to actually reflect on what you're good at and what it is that you want to do. What do you want your legacy to look like? So you start thinking about those things, right? So the end result of, let me show you kind of the gist of how this sort of plays out, okay? Like we said, the beginning is understanding that you're fucking basically retarded, okay? That's where you start out. You're like, I am a retard. And this is a journey from retard to totally fucking awesome, okay? So I'm a fucking retard. Realize that as a retard, your destiny is to be locked down, have forced procedures done on you. Well, it wasn't force. We just put more pressure than God knows what. Okay, force shit on you, okay? Basically having every fucking regulation, every demeaning fucking regulation treating you like a fucking idiot, like cattle. Do you feel like you're some free person, or do you feel like you're fucking cattle? Wait, if you feel like you're free, wake the fuck up and realize you're being treated like fucking cattle. Okay? Consider that at least. You don't need to take it just from me. Okay? So then from there, begin to take responsibility for yourself. When I talked earlier, look at things that will kill you. Right? How are you even taking responsibility if you don't know what's going to kill you? Start auditing your life. We'll go through this weekend. We'll go through all this stuff, okay? Start looking at where your life's going. Start figuring out what it is that you want to do. I'll get you started on all of it. You guys, by the end of this weekend, you'll have everything that you need for this, okay? You'll walk away like very educated. You'll walk away very, very, very educated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Start knocking down small goals. Now you're not just somebody who needs to be treated like a vulgar animal. Now you have a valid claim that you're not just some fucking idiot that needs to be managed. Because that's how they view you, by the way. They view you as a vulgar animal who needs to be managed. Okay? The systems all reflect it. They all reflect it. Now you have a valid claim to that. Now you can start to create leaders. Now as you create other leaders who are not vulgar animals to be exploited and managed, now you begin to change the population, you begin to change the world. But there has to be a culture of that. And understand that America, it might only be a couple hundred years old, but there is culture here. They try to say there's no culture here. I don't believe that. I think there is culture here. You know what's funny? We joked about the Drake Kendrick Lamar diss thing. That's culture. Hip hop culture is culture. That's an American thing. Cheesy ass, goofy ass self-help gurus is part of our culture. Christianity is part of our culture. Other religions also contribute to being part of our culture. Every race and gender and sexual orientation here contributes to our culture. That's true. Okay? So we have great people here. Do you understand that? We have great fucking people here. But if you look at, say, the Roman Catholic Church, they have saints, right? Some people get sanctified. Do we have saints in America? No. Not in the church, but do we have saints?
Billionaires?
What's that?
Billionaires? Like
I guess a billionaire, yeah. But who are our saints?
Like our founding fathers.
Founding fathers, right? But do we ever acknowledge the correlation between those insights that allowed for freedom to begin to thrive somewhat and God? Do we ever make that connection? Who are you guys the most grateful for when you think about who created the life that you had? Because if you don't have people that you're grateful for, then why would you want to go out and become someone that other people will be grateful for? But that's not a part of our culture either. And that's not for you to sit there and demand that the public education system fixes all this for you. It's on you. You could be somebody who would be a role model for other people. You could also look up to other role models. One of the things that I did during my trip that was so important was I went to Martin Luther King's house. You know, I'll go see the monuments in Washington, D.C. Go to Martin Luther King's house. Go see the history of it. Go see the history of slavery and how disgusting it was. Go to the Holocaust Museum, see how disgusting it was. Go learn about the different people that have been fucked over. Learn about World War II. Learn about the founding fathers. Learn about what actually helped create what it is that you have. Okay? And then that will begin to make you feel excited and get you seeing some bigger vision. But what is the kind of vision that we have now in America? How much weed you can smoke, how much you could party, maybe get laid, and floss, and work less. It's a lot of that kind of shit. Right? But where's something inspiring? Where's a more inspiring vision? The average person doesn't read the Bible. The average Christian doesn't read the Bible. I read the Bible, so when I meet other Christians, I'm like, tell me about it. What's your favorite passage? What's your favorite part? They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to pray when they meet up. And then they just talk about shit like, well, do you swear? I don't swear. That's what you got out of this? Did you fornicate in college? Did you have a fornication in college? Okay, is that what you got out of this? So there's a lack of inspiration, right? There's a lack of vision. Lacking of vision. And the problem is that once the population is dumbed down, they're not even capable of taking on any kind of a complex vision. So then the vision becomes, make America great again. Okay, there's some good stuff there, but what is that also indirectly saying to certain people? What is something like make America great again indirectly saying to certain people? If you're a black guy and you hear make America great again, what does that sound like to you? Now, it doesn't have to be that, by the way. It's certainly, and I don't even think that's what Trump implies. That guy's fucking hilarious. He's going to go down as a legend. But what does that sound like to a guy who's black? Make America great again? What are you talking about? When? Like when? What does that sound like potentially? It sounds like a slave dog whistle to some extent. It doesn't mean that at all. I don't think that's the most Republicans, but it fucking sounds like it. So is that the ultimate solution? What does that actually do? What does that result in? My view, that results in George Floyd riot, pissing people off. That's not a rallying point, guys. And I think Trump's fucking hilarious, by the way. I don't think that's what he means at all, in the slightest. But it definitely kind of sounds like that. So what is a better vision? What would you guys say is a better vision? What's a vision that you guys have for your country or for your life? More community? Yell some stuff out. Have you guys ever thought about it? What are some visions that you have? What do you want to say? It's your fucking country. It's not mine. By the way, it's not mine. I'm Canadian. It's your fucking country. What's your vision for your country?
Self-accountability as a standard.
I can't even hear you.
Self-accountability as a standard.
Self-accountability as part of the culture. Great. What else?
More freedom.
More freedom. What else?
Be healthy.
By the way, though, if everyone's a fucking derper and you give them freedom, what happens? You got to fix the derping in parallel. What else?
I kind of like the Norman Rockwell America, like the outdoors, just
Getting the outdoors more. By the way, though, we have an amazing national park system. Have you visited it? It's already there. We have the best national park system in the world. You haven't even visited it. I've been to almost every national park. Okay, so what else do you guys see as a vision?
An upcoming roadmap.
What's that?
An upcoming roadmap.
A roadmap?
Yeah, upcoming.
We have a roadmap. What's the roadmap?
Like, being age one, you should, like, these are the things you do all the way up. Like, 70.
Well, that's relatively taught in grade school to some extent. But it's a better vision, yeah, having more clarity. What else?
No poison in our foods.
Getting rid of the poison in our food. Okay, what else?
Increased intelligence.
People being more intelligent. Okay, what else?
Open spiritual thought.
More open with spirituality. What else?
Higher quality concepts.
Higher quality concepts. Okay. By the way, though, it exists on the internet. But it maybe if it became a culture to where people want to talk about it more. What else?
Collaborative frame.
Collaborative frame. Okay, what else?
Fail to learn.
What's that?
Fail to learn.
Fail to learn?
Yes.
In what way?
By failing, you learn.
Yeah, failing forward, as I'd say, right? So, okay, what are you guys detecting from this conversation? What are you seeing? What are we exposing in this conversation? We're exposing something. What are we exposing?
Our weaknesses.
This is one of the brighter, as much as people will say, oh, people in a self-help room are fucking dumb and they're getting help, that's not actually true. The average intelligence in this room is probably 50% higher than on the street. Maybe 500% higher than on the street. So this is actually a room full of bright people. This is what we have. This is it, huh? This is it, huh? This is what a room full of all these people came up with. What do you guys rate our vision out of 10 right now? 1. I'd put it at 1. A 0. I'd give a 0, but we did say some stuff. So I'll put it at a 1. It's your country. It's your fucking country. And by the way, if you don't have some kind of a vision for your country, someone else fucking does. Do you understand? So you can build your vision into it and have your voice, or you can go off of other people's vision and you're fucked. Because other people's vision is house arrest. Manage the derpers. You know where it gets scary? It gets scary when I start wondering if maybe they're not wrong. I start saying, is China right to be surveilling everybody? Are they right? I start wondering, are we all disgusting, retarded animals that just need to be managed? I start wondering that because I see what goes on the street. I'm like, look at this shit. Look at this shit. A lot of people that believe in that stuff are not even mean-spirited. They're just like, yeah, these people are too fucked. They need to be told what to do. They're too fucked. So on some level, you have to disprove that, right? So that is what this weekend's theme is going to be about, okay? That's what this weekend's theme is going to be about. Is building, first of all, yourself, but actually having a vision, having leadership, and executing on it. By the way, though, you guys will notice this. One of my single biggest things that I'm big on is having fun. Who is more of an idiot doing massive parties than me? Mercy, who's more of a fucking retard doing parties than me?
No one.
Yeah.
No one.
Ask Mercy, who's a bigger retard in LA doing parties than me. Ask her.
Who's the biggest retard in LA doing parties?
No one more than Owen.
Yeah, I mean, dumbass ragers, people falling out the fucking house, neighborhood hates me. I like to have fun. I think that's a very American thing, is having fun. Okay? I think Americans should aim to have the most fun. Seriously. That should be a vision, having the most fun. I even think a vision for America should be being the most loud and obnoxious. You want to know what? No, that's real though. I'll tell you why. Because part of having freedom is you're allowed to elevate yourself. And when you elevate yourself, you become more boisterous. You become funnier. You ever notice when you just feel fucking awesome, you become a bit louder, you become a little bit more funny? You ever notice that? That should be America. People having fun. Right? If you're American, you want to have fun. If you're American, you want to have a great time. If you're American, you take accountability. If you're American, you have great fucking ethics. And we all have to work on our ethics. Everybody does. But you care about your fucking ethics. If you're American, you care about yourself being accountable, but encouraging a culture of accountability so that that country can remain free. So there has to be a shift in culture there. And then the question is, what do we want to do from there? Right? But that's the basics of it. So here's what I'm going to do, okay? I want to do a group exercise, and I want you guys to take 5 minutes, and take 10 minutes, okay? And talk to each other about your vision. What is your vision for your life? What do you want out of your life? But what kind of leader do you want to be? And it's your country, not mine. It's your fucking country. So what do you want to do with it? Right? What do you want to do with your country? And it sounds a bit narcissistic. Well, okay, so we haven't been narcissistic. We go, oh, I couldn't have an influence on that. And then I ask any of you what your vision is, and I get almost no answer at all. So you've never even thought of this, okay? So there has to be some kind of a compelling future that we're leaning in towards. At least in China, they've got all these crazy-ass architectural projects. You know, they're gonna hit the next level in their social credit score system or something. So at least there's some kind of, at least you gotta give them credit, at least there's a vision. Okay? So again, just to repeat this, in a company, like we've got to know where we're going if we have a company. The people have to be motivated. Like, look, I have guys here on my team that I could bring up that, you know, they would talk to you about the vision for why they're in the company. Why are they here? What are they trying to build? What inspires them? What's motivating? They're able to speak on those things. Okay? So what inspires you in your own life? What are you driving to? What individual or personal goals are you driving towards? What family goals for your children are you driving towards? And what national goals are you driving towards? Maybe even the world someday. But people also have to sweep their own porch before trying to fix somebody else's porch. Or everybody's porch is gonna suck. Okay? So take about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and think on that. Sit down and think on that. If you're watching at home on a video, put in the comments what your vision is. And like I said, if you just acknowledge, I'm kind of retarded, we can begin to build systems around that, and that's when we start knocking down wins. So we start knocking down basic wins. Better wins, and then we keep leading into that. This is the kind of shit that I show my kids. But how do you think I show this to my kids? What do you think I do? You think I tell them? How do I show them? So what do you think in my family some of the goals are for my children? How do you think they think about the world or think about life? Do they think the world is fun or it sucks? Do you think America is fun or it sucks? Like, do you think my kids are patriotic or you think my kids they think the country sucks? Patriotic. Do my kids view it as their country that they can have a leadership role in, or do they view it like they're just at the effect of the country? Their country. They view it as their fucking country, okay? How about as a family? What kind of goals do we have as a family? What do you think goals we have? Here's what I do with my kids, okay? I go, look, where do you want to go? Pick a place they're not just allowed to look at the fucking internet all day, right? I go, pick a place that you want to go. Show me somewhere that you want to go. Okay, cool. Okay, show me how long it would take to travel there. Okay, cool. Show me a budget of what it would cost so they learn what money is. Okay, cool. Show me where you want to go in that city. Okay, cool. Let's make a plan to go there. Okay, cool. So there's always different things that they're doing where they view the world as a fun place where they can knock down goals. They can knock down fun things they want to do. There's places that they want to go see. So we're always leaning into some brighter future. Okay? There's always something coming. There's the next thing that they're leaning into. That's as little kids. But that's more than most adults have. And by the way, you can do all that stuff. There's some parents that are in my courses that I show how to do that on a fuck all budget. I show them how to do it. There's ways of doing it. You can do it on fleek, like the fancy way, but you can do it on a budget and still have the same fucking experience. It's not that different. Okay? So what I want you guys to do is think of a vision personally, think of a vision professionally, think of a vision for your family, for your country, for the world. Start talking about it so that you can begin to ease into being a leader. And then what we'll do is once we've got that, now we can go backwards and we can start thinking a little bit about that.